All right.
Yep.
Welcome to this podcast. My name is Isaiah.
Yes, and I am Bdash, aka James Derrick.
Yep. And we are going to be posting on my YouTube page. And I think what I want to say before we start is that I'm going to drastically change my YouTube channel. If you want to follow Bdash and Miranda with their dance videos, you should follow their page, which I will put right here. But go and follow them and watch their videos.
Yeah, go follow. I dance with my wife, if you don't know. Her name is Miranda Derrick as well.
I think we could start off with how we met.
I mean, basically, you hit me up in the DMs. You left me a message about do you want to work with me?
Yeah.
About filming. And what's funny was I was literally looking for a cameraman at the time. So... because I was being busy with videos and I was kind of struggling with a cameraman, and that's something I asked for. And then Isaiah hit me up in the DMs, and from there, that's how it kind of started, right?
It was cool because when I started, I was I think I was at 3,000 followers on Instagram, and you were at 100,
maybe
100K.
It could be 100. I could have been at 72.
It might be lower. So that's the time that I contacted him, and I contacted you March 19, on March 2019.
Yeah,
and I basically just sent the DM, and I just was like, all right, if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, then it doesn't,
Yeah.
I was just kind of going with the flow. And it was cool because I sent that DM, and 4 minutes later, you responded back. And from then on, I think I asked if we could meet up at a coffee shop so we could kind of talk about the concept ideas or just what we could do. But also, I wanted to meet up because I wanted to be I'm not like any other videographers. I'm not just the show up that day and film it and leave, you know? I like to plan, I like to prep, come up with ideas and make it into a movie.
At that time, I really did not look at my because it wasn't a request.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So it's just funny how it happened. I was just on my Instagram, and then I checked my message request, and it was right there. And for some reason, I answered it immediately because I was, like I said, I was asking for a camera guy, and boom, I was like, yeah, let's try it, let's go. So we did meet up. I believe it was Starbucks.
Yeah,
we had our first meeting
Starbucks.
because we did a lot of concepts. Because I did a lot of concept videos at the time too.
Yeah, you did concepts. Yeah. I don't know. I think you were fresh off of the World of Dance.
Yes.
Actually, no. Because you probably filmed that earlier, and then it just aired. When it aired, it was just fresh off.
Yeah.
So you guys were getting a lot of hype through that video.
Man, that was... Because when you doing social media... Because I was a crump dancer, at first. I was all in that whole battle scene. So when I got into social media back in 2014... I believe that's when I started Instagram. And so I went on that journey, and I had my ups and downs. So when I was able to finally get on NBC World of Dance, it was because I was on the World of Dance before, and they noticed us. And I did that IT concept on the World of Dance show, the performance show. That wasn't the NBC show. So I used that same concept on the show, and it did really well. I believe, if you look back, it's still one of the best performances on the show, because I just think it's, not dance-wise, I also think just creatively, So the fact that being able to present my art, and how could I keep going, and I feel like I couldn't do that by myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't have all this camera equipment and then try to film myself. So it was I needed that person that, hey, I do this. So it was perfect, man. Doing concept videos is not easy. You could have a great idea, but if it's not captured right, it just doesn't hit as hard. So the fact that you know how to enhance a vision, because that's how I feel about when I'm collaborating with anybody, is how could this be a great picture? That's how I think, and whoever's around me, I believe that's how we all think, So Yeah, I believe it came out tight, especially the Jokers.
Yeah, we went all out too on
Yep.
that first concert video because we had the rain machine.
That's right. Wait, is this
We did the It concept.
first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was when
Yeah, we had
the rain and you. No.
Oh,
that was the
second one.
That was the second one.
Wow, I forgot about the first one.
The first one is I don't know
remember.
how, but we had a rig, put this thing like a hose and
the
it's
sprinkler.
like a sprinkler type, and we basically kind of made it rain, you know, as the intro, and then we filmed the dance thing after, and then we did an outro, and then after that we're like, okay, now let's work on the second one. Let's up it up, and then it led to doing the Joker concept.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites still to this day.
But it was just, it was all in the span of what, like, this was all before COVID for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
When COVID hit. So we were working pretty consistently. But even before that, I was working with, did a couple of videos in Montana, and I didn't even know that she picked you guys to collab. That's how we like kind of first worked together. And then the second time was with Ditto. And funny thing is that like we had this whole concept planned, and we just needed like a dancer, and she picked you. And it was kind of interesting because I was like, I didn't even pick you, you just got picked by Ditto, you know. So it seems like I picked you for that project, but it actually wasn't. So it kind of worked out. So then I think those projects also helped us kind of get closer. And then both projects actually did pretty well. Then we had our meeting and then we had another meeting, I think, at Starbucks, and then we kind of finalized the It concept.
Yeah, because I remember showing up to the set, you know, in North Hollywood, and we was like in some abandoned like building was down, and but it was a beat I made. We did the concept to this musicality beat. That's what I call it, musicality beat concept, whatever. So it was me, Montana, and Kevin at the time. And we did that video, but I had no idea who was filming. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, oh, what's up, dude? So, and then Ditto, you know, she told me about the project. I was like, yeah. And that project was stress, man, because, man, we did it the day before. We practiced, and then we filmed the next day. And it was a one take. So it wasn't like, stop here. So it took a while, and Ditto had me tutting, and I'm like, that is not my thing.
That's not your vibe.
So, but hey, and I look crazy. I mean, I look crazy, so you could go back and see that that tutting part is not it.
That's hilarious.
But no, I still enjoyed that. That was fun.
It's crazy because like I was working with Ditto for 2 years, maybe 2 years prior before I like even met you. So like me and Ditto like kind of already had a flow of coming up with concept videos and ideas and just creating, you know. And so there was a point where like, you know, she needed a like space or break just due to personal reasons, and I'm like, I want to still kind of create. That's where you came into the picture, and it kind of all worked out.
Yeah, we did It. I think 2 Joker, 2 the second It, and then we ended up doing the 3 and 4.
Yeah, then we did 3 and 4. That's where I met Vik, and you met Vik around that same time too.
Like I knew of Vik, and we did like a couple videos with friends. And then I think we did Rudder Dance 2 together. We ended up doing Rudder Dance.
That's true.
Yeah, together.
I remember.
And that one went viral. I remember that because that's when we did the sweater move. So this was, Vik was just, you know, Slavic. Vik was always tight, but
I met him when he was at like, I think 80K for sure.
Dang.
Like he had 80K. Me and him had a whole nother story. There was a music video that I wanted him to be a part of, and basically the music video didn't go through, and I was like, hey, let's just still do a video because I think you're tight. And he was like, sure. So we did a video, and then we start to incorporate him into the It chapter 4. I think 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
And then that was around the before COVID time, right?
Yeah.
Before COVID era, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think people forgot COVID happened.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, people forgot. I want to see like another thing is like, what was your first impression, you know, of when you met me, and what was my first impression when I met you?
Well, in I don't want to say Hollywood. What I would say is, sometimes when you meet up with people and you have meetings, but for some reason it never follows through.
That's true too.
That's like a huge thing in the industry. Like, you can have meetings and this could be promised and that. And one thing I noticed, like, you followed through and we was on it and we did it. And I was like, ooh, I like this, you know? Because a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times where that happens, you're just like, man, like, especially when you're trying to get something going, you can't get it going and when somebody's like, they're just doing other things, like too busy. And that's something I noticed with you was, you was like, no, let's do it. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, like, let's go.
Yeah.
I was like, are you true to your word? You know, that was the first thing that I really recognized. And you just quiet and you like, all right, let's go. I don't know, you have this like, let's go mentality. And I feel like I have that too, so that's why it just worked.
I feel like that's why we clicked, because we're both like, we both have a goal, and we're like, all right, let's do it.
The fact that we executed all those videos at the time, and man, and just realizing like how you prep, like you would, like when you film, you don't do nothing like the day before, like you just like you think about what you about to do the next day, and like how you prep is really cool. I don't know, just seeing those things, and also too like say if a situation happened, I saw you like just being chill, you know, you was just like like if something went wrong with the lights or things like that, you just like, okay. You know, just super chill, you know? And I was like, I'm gonna take that.
I think I remember.
I was like, why stress out? Like, I'm gonna just take that, you know? So it was, those are the cool things, like just your character, and like, man, you just stay true to your word, and it's cool to be around somebody that will actually will say something and do it. And that helped me actually, like, you know what? I gotta stay true to my word. So, man.
I mean, it took a lot, actually, like a lot of growing to get to that place where, like, when things go wrong, you're like, all right, it's cool. But part of that, preparation is what's key to dealing with troubles and just anything like crazy that could happen on set is a lot of preparation. So like, if I'm cool about it, that means I've already thought about it, you know, it happening, and I'm like, all right, cool. Then we'll just stick with Plan B. There's so much to talk about.
There's so much, dude.
Another thing, I was like, once we got closer to working together, I knew I was like one of my goals for you was like, okay, we need to get you to a million Instagram followers. It was cool because then we worked on the Joker video, and once we posted it, it went viral like ASAP. Basically, there was no delay.
That's the video that helped me gain followers. I think I got to 400K. I remember. Well, some of it was helping.
Yeah, I think some of it was helping, but the Joker video really pushed you over. I think it might be because you started off with 100, right?
Yeah, I think I remember. I think it was 172 actually. I remember now because it was after ABC. It was after NBC World of Dance. Yeah. And that's when I got to 172. K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then each like concept videos, it was just like pushing up your page, like it would go up 100K or 50K. Then around that time, it's like it was huge because like I think like TikTok, like this was before vertical videos too. This was just like the square, like, you know what I'm saying? We didn't focus on TikTok and the vertical format.
That's right.
I think you were starting to get into that, and the whole IGTV was they just released IGTV, so you're like, all right, can we just make it vertical? And at that time, I'm like, why are we doing vertical? So then we had success with the Joker. We had success with the It series. Then
it was one that actually took off. It was the cleaning one.
Oh, but then that's later though. That was COVID time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like.
Oh yeah, because that's the 10 video thing. We had. Got it.
So after like the Joker videos, like we planned on working more, but then COVID hit, and then we kind of like everyone kind of took a break. You know, you were just doing your own thing. I was doing my own thing. And then 3 months into COVID, or I don't know, maybe 4 months into COVID.
Yeah, because 2020, let's go. The first thing that happened was Kobe's death. It was like, oh man.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, and you texted me about that in the morning. I was like,
that.
Wait, what?
I was like, because we both like the Lakers.
Oh, yeah.
Luka.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, Kobe was my favorite player all time. So that's when I heard that, I was like, man, that was devastating.
Then COVID happened after, right?
Yeah, it was starting to happen around that time because, but then everything shut down thinking March. I took a break for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I went to Michigan. And why I came back to LA was like, that's a whole experience, man.
Yeah.
So I don't know when you want to like talk about that.
I think we could I think part of our like testimony has a lot to do with like our faith in God and Jesus. For instance, when I met you, or when I before I reached out to when I reached out and DM'd you, I was asking God, like, who should I work with? And there was a lot of people that were talented and great, but there was just a certain highlight on you. I just got the green light, and that's when I responded and I hit you up, and it worked out. When we actually hung out and while we were doing all these videos, I never talked to you about my faith. I was very quiet, and so I didn't bring up God first. You brought him up first. It was because you had a brand deal.
McDonald's.
Was it performance?
Yeah, it was a performance.
You had a performance, right?
OC fair, I think. Yeah,
I think it was an OC fair.
Yeah,
and you didn't have a car. You didn't have a car at that time. No. So I think you might have asked me.
Yeah, I did.
You asked me.
I was like, hey, Isaiah.
Hey, are you free to drive me? I'm like, cool. All right, let's do it.
And and in our relationship wasn't even strong or nothing like that.
No, it wasn't.
No, so for somebody to take you to Orange County to a performance, that's huge. Yeah. You didn't even ask for gas money.
I didn't ask for any money or nothing.
Wait, I don't even remember.
You didn't offer money. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So. Man,
that's hilarious.
Well, yeah, that's what's cool about it, man. If a lot of people don't know, I've been saved since I was 17 years old. I lived in Compton. I grew up in Compton, and when you live in Compton, you most likely are part of a gang, because it's your family, right? It's just your neighborhood, and yeah, I got saved when I was 17, and I feel like I was headed down the wrong path. I was playing sports at first. And I got hurt, and then I saw the movie Rise. That's what inspired me to start crumping. Yeah. So I'm in my living room watching this DVD at the time on my big screen TV in my house in Compton in my room. I had a big screen TV. My mom did take care of me. My mom did take care of us. She worked really hard, and I was practicing for crump, and I was like, man, I gotta dance for Todd Eyes and them, man, at the time, I knew somebody that knew him. So I was trying to get in touch with him. And at the time, I met up with this guy named Slayer. And that's who she knew. That's how I got in contact with Ches. But Slayer, at the time, he started talking to me about God. And I remember I was in a car, dude, in this Mustang. I remember the whole moment, I don't think you can forget that moment,
Yeah.
So he told me about God, and I got saved in the car. And I changed everything. I left everything. I was like, I need to do this. And what I wanted to do was crumb. I had no idea God was in it because I knew nothing about God. Nothing. I was just a young man growing up in Compton, and all I knew was what I grew up at, right? So when I got opened up to God, I was like, whoa, everything changed. And I stopped. And thank God, because I feel like if I didn't at that time, I could have got stuck in that path.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of I left everything behind. I started dancing. I was passionate about that. And from there, that's when that whole the crump era. And that's 8 years of my life before going to North Hollywood from 2016. No, sorry, 20. I'm saying 20, that's why it's throwing me on. 2006 to 2014. So that era right there, that's how I grew up. From that time, it was in crump, going to church, in crump, and traveling the world. And I never thought I would travel the world, a kid from Compton, by dancing. So it's so many things that's like mind blowing to me because how do you travel the world from Compton? Like, I don't think people understand that. Like, when you from Compton, like, that's all you could that's all you know. You probably would know a couple of places, but that's really all you know. So it's cool to get into a dance and then venture out into the world. And then I was able to teach because I learned the craft of crump. So, man, that's a whole story. But the main thing, I was very serious about God. Like, God, forgive me for my sins. I forgive other sins. Like, no, the basics,
Yeah.
And I was really serious about that. So I'm just different that way, and I'm wired differently because of where I came from, I think. I was around death. I've been shot at. Like, I could die, So I'm like, what happens when I die? So these are things I used to think about a lot. So it changed my life. And that's why crump was always a God thing for me. It wasn't just like this dance. Like, yeah, man, it's so much that goes into that. We'll be here for weeks talking about that. I'm saying that because I learned a couple of things by being a Christian, being saved, and I know, like, forcing people trying to talk about God, because that's what I love to do. I really love to talk about God. If you know me, man, that's what I do. If you don't, I'll be quiet. But I did go through a stage where I was trying you need to be saved, blah, blah. I used to talk to my neighbors like, bro, you need to be saved. Like, that didn't really work. So I'm like, I'm not doing that. So even when I came to North Hollywood, I wasn't talking to people about God. I was just like, no, I'm here to learn how to dance. But my main passion was that. Yeah. So I was like holding that in. Yeah. So when we had that talk, I was like, oh, snap. Yeah. Cool, Yeah. Yeah, so this is the backstory.
Yeah, so then we were, we went to, I dropped you off at the OC Fair and I saw you perform. I think I took some, BTS video for you. And then towards the end of the night, you just, casually just brought up God, You didn't even know that I was a believer, too. Nope. That's what's funny. And so you talked about, you talked about hell. And you're like, dang, yeah, hell's a scary place. And all I said was, yeah, I agree. And then you're like, I'm sure you're like, oh, he agrees.
You don't get that. You don't get that.
Yeah, people don't really say that. Yeah. And so then from then on, you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then that was it. And then we just was focused on the videos. And then, the more we hung out.
Oh, that's right. Wait, sorry. 2020. That was 2020. That's when everything broke out. Everything started breaking out after.
Oh, I see.
That when we went to the OC.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think that's when everything started breaking out.
Yeah. But I remember that was a crucial moment in our friendship. Was our first talk about God was just one sentence or two sentence. So then COVID happened. we went our like ways basically. You were with Miranda at the time. You went to Michigan, then you came back. So do you want to talk about like what brought you back? How that even happened? Because if the experience that you had in Michigan didn't happen, then you probably would have stayed there. We wouldn't have met and gone further into our like business adventures.
Yeah. Well, so I went to Michigan with Miranda. Basically, like I was in Michigan for a month, I would say. I don't know how long, but I know it was March, and I came back in like April. I'm out there, and just it's snowing, and just 2020. It's nothing really. I was doing a couple of dance videos and stuff, and I was running. You know me, like I like to run a lot.
That's true.
Yeah, and I was still running in the snow. Like I was finding ways to run, to work out. One day I was just sitting down, and I got in my spirit, read 1 John 2:15, and that's where it talks about don't be friends of the world. Don't be friends with the world. And it like just, if you could read it, it's 1 John 2:15. You read it down.
Yeah.
But I literally, that was specifically I heard that in my spirit, and I read it. I was like, I gotta change. So even though I got saved, right? I feel like you gotta always constantly change. Like, you know what I'm saying? No matter where you think, I got saved in 2006. Like, no, you gotta keep going. And I just feel like I was at a place where I wasn't as close to God. And I would like think about God there and there, but I was like, I feel like I'm just not as close. And I read that, and it convicted me so bad. And I was just like, man, I gotta change, man. And it's more to that story, but I want to get to the point where, so I had a situation where one day, this was after Miranda's sister's birthday, right? And this is later at night, and all of a sudden, I couldn't breathe well. And I was like, man, I'm like, I know I got COVID. Like, how this couldn't just happen that fast? Like, it literally just like, I just couldn't breathe well. Then I tried to sleep, and then I got up because this when I was sleeping on the couch. I got up and I went to the restroom, and I'm like, man, I'm thinking I'm about to pass out. My heart felt like really slow. It was hard to catch some breath. I mean, it was hard to breathe. And as I'm doing this, and it was to the point where I had to lay down on the floor, and because you get hot. When you can't breathe and like you feel like you're about to pass out, you just get hot. And I just laid on the floor for a minute. I'm like, man, I think I actually passed out thinking about it now. Like, cause that was like, well, then I got up, I came back to the couch, and man, I am like that. But in this whole time, I always learned this: by Jesus' stripes I'm healed. But not one time I was like, I never spoke, I can't breathe. I always was like, nope, by Jesus' stripes I'm healed. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. I was quoting scriptures. 1 Peter 2:24, like, by his stripes we were healed. I was just like, And I'm like, man, I kept at it. And then about an hour, so now but one thing was this: I had thoughts like, should I call the ambulance? Should I wake up the family? And God told me no. He was like, don't do that. It'll make it worse. So I was like, whew. And this is not something you play with, you know? So I'm like, I'm thinking I'm about to die. So I'm like, if I die, then at least I die in faith, right? That's what I was thinking. And this is happening. And I'm like, man. Then I was like, no, by Jesus' stripes, breathe. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. And I started speaking in tongues. And I haven't spoken tongues in a while. And now I'm speaking in tongues. And this was happening for like 2 hours, by the way. Just
I didn't know that.
This was a battle for like 2 hours, bro. And because I was like, do I call the ambulance? And like the paramedic, I was just going through. It's like, no, believe, right? That's all I was. And then I was like, I'm healed. And then I pray in tongues. I could breathe better. I'm like, but my body is shaking because I just think after the effect, my body is shaking. And I just started thanking God. And I remember I was laying on this part of the couch, and I'm still shaking, but I actually heard God speak to me, and He told me 3 things. This is before whatever, like this is just before everything, right?
Yeah.
He told me 3 things. He said, help people. And then he was like, Miranda's my wife. Like, that's your wife. I was like, okay. And he told me to go back to LA. I have something for you.
Yeah.
Can't make this up.
No.
Like, this is before everything.
Yeah.
This is before, like, it was that 2020 section where, 2020 moment where I was separated from you. So my thing was, I heard God and I listened and I went back. That's why I went back. Miranda's like, why are you leaving? Like, I'm like, I need to go back. Like, I heard.
Yeah.
I need to go back.
Yeah.
And I went back. Yeah. And that's when we linked back up.
But then that's what's crazy is because that was the instruct or you received from God, go back to LA. But then it's like, now what? What do I do? So then now for you, it was just you searching, you know. Mm-hmm. And for me, when you came back to LA, I'm like, okay, let's. We start hanging out more.
We were hiking a lot, actually.
We were hiking a lot every day, just hanging out. Mm-hmm. So then we got together and we were trying to just make concept, and then we just gave ourselves a goal like, hey, let's just work on 10 videos. Let's have, so I had like, my strategy was, let's have 5 videos already filmed, edited, and done. Boom. Mm-hmm. And so by the time we worked on the 6th video, we could start posting the first video. So then we give ourselves some space. So then just in case that we were busy a certain week, you know, we had videos in our pipeline basically ready to go. Yep. And that was the plan, to just be consistent. And then another thing we would do is we just watch a lot of movies to gain inspiration, to be like, okay, what's the next concept videos? Because creating concept ideas is a lot of it is seeking. You have to seek a lot. And at that time, the only movie that was out was Tenet. I remember we drive all the way down to Orange County because that's the only video theater that would play the movies. Yeah, basically, we were so bored. We watched Tenet like 5 times. That was the only movie.
What's funny in Tenet is like, what is happening?
Yeah, basically you're like, what's going on? We're back. I had to switch the battery. Before we started the 10 videos, there was another like shift in our friendship that obviously no one really knows about except for us. Was the whole YouTube situation. And one of my strategy, I was like, okay, like, with these horizontal videos, we need one channel to post this. What I proposed was, okay, can we post this on my channel, and all the videos you could have the rights to post it on your Instagram, your TikTok, I think around that time, and just other platforms, but I have just the rights for the YouTube part. And at first you were not happy about that.
It's like, heck no.
And so you basically was like, all right, if it should be on anyone's channel, it should be mine. I was like, all right, whatever. If you want it, you want it. You know, I was willing to like work with that. And then I think on that same day, like, you came over to my house and you were like, I just thought about it, and you were like, it should be on your channel. I didn't know what made you change that.
Sometimes when you just in the heat of a moment, you just say things. So, and I thought about it, and I was just like, no, you can have this space. Like, no, I don't even want to worry about YouTube. Like, I don't even want to think about it. A shift happened in me, like, kind of like what I heard in Michigan. It was just one of those things, like, God was like, no. Like, give it to Isaiah. It was that's what, for me. Yeah. And look at the results, though, you know? Yeah. Like, look what happened. Yeah. I just thought, too, like, as a business partner, like, you can't be stingy. Like, you have to give in that way. And that's what happened to me. Was a shift of like, no, you're right. Like you focus on the YouTube.
Yeah. And so now I was already committed, but then this like pushed me another step to become even more committed, to be like, all right, I'm gonna put like 110, because I already was giving 100.
Yep.
And that's one of my foundation is like, if I'm not passionate about it, then I'm not gonna do it. You know, if it's not 100%,
don't do it.
Then I don't do it. You know.
Don't.
And so we came up with all these concepts, and not all of them did well. We were just kind of just testing it out, and then until like we got like one success, and it was the janitor video. And this is when like Vik was part of our group.
Well, he was a part of a couple of them, because we did the bench with the bus stop.
There was a bus stop one.
Bus stop, day and night. I think in the janitor.
And the janitor.
Yeah.
But then the janitor was the one that
took off.
I don't know what the order of it, but yeah, the janitor one took off. Yeah. And I think I titled that, I said like how to clean up COVID or something like that. Or,
COVID cleanup or something.
COVID cleanup.
Yeah.
That was the title. And then you posted it on it, and then Instagram, I guess, boosted up or something.
Yeah.
And then it got
62 million views.
62 million.
That was like
views.
one of the first big ones, like in that.
In the horizontal content era, and it pushed your following even higher.
Yeah.
Because that video went viral, we were like, let's do a part 2 of the janitor.
Yes.
Cleanup.
That's right.
Yes, and then we're like, okay, cool. We got to up it up this time. We got to take it to the next level. How can we take it to the next level? And once money was coming in, and we started seeing results, then we started to like put money into the next couple of videos.
So now we get better venues and things like that.
Yeah, and better stuff. And we saw. I was on Pure Space, and I saw a location. I was like, "Oh, this would be tight." You know, it looked like the Batman cave.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "How funny would it be if like you guys were the janitors of the Batman in the Batman cave?" That spot was like expensive, so it was like, if I'm not mistaken, $250 an hour.
And we were there for a couple hours.
3 hours.
Because we did morning to like.
I think it was $200 an hour. And in my head, I'm like, okay, this investment's gonna hurt, but it's gonna be good. And so you believed in the videos, and I believed in the videos, and I think you paid for the location, correct?
I think so.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, you basically
contribute, because I mean, like, it's our project. So
so I think I think you and maybe Vik, he contributed on like a couple other projects, but you were the main person that was contributing to any like big rentals that I needed and locations.
I mean, that's a whole nother story, because the fact that I don't think people notice, but I'm gonna say it now. You didn't charge us for these videos.
No.
Like, and like all those videos, like zero.
Yeah.
And come on, it's like, that's the best thing I could do is like, hey, I could pay for this. I could pay for the lights or things like that, you know? Because if you want to start a business with anybody, you want to invest, right? So the fact that his investment was his time, his using his camera, and like, and not just that, editing.
Yep.
And man, it's so much that goes into it, and pay $0 for it. And it's like, of course, like, let me take care of this. Let me take care of that.
We spent like $600 on that location for like 3 hours, and I was like, okay, we can't just shoot just one video. You know, otherwise then it would just be a waste. In my head, I'm like, we have this dope location. Let's try to maximize it. And so I think we came up with 2 concepts.
We came up with 2 concepts.
And then there's other people that was part of the group that came in, you know, had concepts on their own. Yeah. So for me, I filmed like 3 videos at that time.
You filmed more than that, bro.
I only remember 3, and then other people were filming while I was filming.
Got it.
So like whether it's on their phone or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But we were all just using the space, and there was this like trend that I was like, oh, this would be tight if you did do it, you know. And it was the glitch. It was a glitch video, and I remember I sent it to Bdash, and I was like, hey, like we should do this at the Batman. So when we finished filming everything, it was about time to leave. I remember like, hey, what about that glitch video? And you kind of were like, okay, I guess let's do it. You know, so then you filmed it. We just filmed it on the phone real quick. We filmed like a couple, and then I was like, all right, cool. You posted it on that same day. You were just like, all right, I'm just gonna post it. That same day, it just blew up. And then we had dinner that night. Yeah. And then I remember you showing me like your page, and you're like, dude, like look, and I was like, wait, what? Yeah, and then it just took off. It was like an instant viral thing. It was the biggest jump I've ever seen in terms of following. It went from like 500, let's say, to like 750. We maximized on those trends. Yeah. And so we're like, okay, let's do a group glitch video, and then let's do
3 blind mice at the time.
Oh yeah, okay. So then that's what we did at the Batman Cave was the 3 blind mice video. And we're like, okay, to promote it, let's just post this and let's do the glitch video. And that blew up. All these videos that you posted blew up. I'm trying to remember, what was the video that pushed you over to that 1 million? Was it the glitch stuff?
It was a glitch. Okay. Because it was the 3 glitch, blind mice did well, because remember when we did the group one page posted, and that's the one that stole like all the views basically, right? Yeah. And that page ended up getting like 3 million followers just off that video. Yeah. Right? And we was like, it was the glitch videos, man, that got to that held 1 million. Of course, doing other things, but I feel like the glitch one was the one
that kind of like pushed everything.
Mm-hmm. It's like crazy too, because you prep and you do all these other videos, and then it's that one small video. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That what caused like, whoa.
Yeah. I had like the live like Instagram calculator, and then I was just like, oh man, we're so close to 1 million, and then like I basically like was just watching it almost every day, but like, we're so close. Okay, how can we push it up? I remember we hit that 1 million. I recorded it. I'm like, yeah, we finally hit it, but you weren't even there. So I was celebrating without you. I was celebrating your page without you, and I was like, yeah, all right, cool. Now that we broke that, now it's like, okay, let's try to include as many people as we can to just push the page. And so one of the brand deals, this is important because that's what like shifted our videos from the horizontal to the vertical thing, which is what you see on my YouTube, his YouTube, and that what blew us up even further was we did this ad, and it was a good budget. And so I was like, okay, we have to rent this nice lens, you know, and this lens, to rent it was like $350 or $400. I wanted to make it look like a commercial, and I want to make it look so professional. And so we filmed that commercial, or we filmed the ad, and now I'm like, okay, I just have this $400 lens sitting around. Now I feel like I gotta film. Let's see. I already have the camera set up. We already finished the ad. Now let's just try to fit in more videos. Yep. And I was like, for me, I'm like, it would just be a waste if we just only filmed, this ad, because the ad in itself only took like an hour to film, if not less. Yeah. I was like, okay, we gotta just do more. So now I'm like, all right, let's just go. And we filmed this at the house I was living at. And so we're like, okay, let's just go on the street and just film videos. I think we only filmed like 3 videos, nothing crazy. It was a 1-day rental, so I was like, okay, I have to return it at like 12 o'clock. And so I hit up, at that time, this was, man, there's so much going on, because now I remember Chaz was, Tie-Dyes was there, so now I was like, hey, Tie-Dyes, like, let's just film, freestyles, you and Vik. It would be cool to have it on this professional camera. So then we met up around like 10 o'clock, filmed it, and then I dropped off the lens at 12. And then now had all these videos edited, sent it out, and then it was just cool. It was like great quality videos, and now we posted it, and now I'm like, okay, all right, like
what's next?
You know? So I'm like, all right, let's just do a day where we rent a nice lens, some lights, and just get a collection of videos. But we filmed enough for, I think it was like 20 videos. I edited it, sent it out to y'all, and then I was like, I personally was like, dang it, I should have like done a little more, added a little more lighting. So then I remember we did another day. Now we were trying to be more organized and trying to invite people to collaborate with us and be more professional about it. I remember my lighting setup got even more fancier, and then even just the lenses got even more crazier. Rented like a $600 lens. There's $600 to rent a day, but then to like if you were to buy it's like $10,000 lenses or $20,000 lenses. You know, we had to get insurance and just all these things. It was crazy. We'd have a day we would just film 25, then it went to 50, and then to a point where like we were just filming 70, and it all started based like
just the content.
Just the content, just the flow we were having.
Well, technically, it started from that. I feel like that started from. It's like the thought was birthed when I came back.
Yeah.
From that, I have something for you in LA. You know, like because of that, I feel like that's what started everything. You know, like I know we were like talking about before and things like that. We kind of prepped, but that was the moment to like shift everything into that direction. You know, and when you're doing that stuff, you know, people want to join. People want to do because it's fun and. It is hard work. I mean, anything you do should be hard work. You should put your all into it, right?
Yeah.
So we just finding different ways to like, how can we work harder? How can we like go harder? You know? Yeah. And especially like on social media, you ask any content creator how hard they work. Like it's probably 24/7.
Yeah.
I mean, talking to a couple of guys that I was like getting some advice from, like they worked so hard, and I'm like, and that's why they was at where they at.
It was cool because we were able to do things that not too many people were able to do. There was one day we filmed 70 videos. You personally didn't film 70 videos. No. It was like you filmed 10 videos. Like everyone that was involved had 10 videos each, you know? Mm-hmm. But for me, it didn't matter. Like I had to film all 70 of them. People would spend a whole day to prep just for maybe 1 or 2 videos.
Yep.
For us, it was like a couple days to prep. To film 70 videos in one day. Mm-hmm. And basically for me, my turnaround time, and also what makes me different from a lot of filmmakers or like videographers, I guess, was I would have the videos ready the next day. Yeah. So then that's what people are so shocked about, and because of that, people always are expecting videos to be done like ASAP. And that's like 70 videos, editing, making sure everything is colored, making sure all the sound and songs are mashed up. Yep. Making sure the framing is right, and then obviously exporting 70 videos. You know, so. And then about that right now. It's crazy. Transferring all these videos, like we transferred to everybody.
And you were doing that by yourself.
Yeah,
most of the time.
I was just challenging myself. I was like, okay. There was a day where we filmed in Malibu, and it was a 2-day thing, and I think we filmed 70 videos each day, if I'm not mistaken. So it was like 140 videos, and I was like, okay, let me see if I could get this all in one day, and I did get it all in one day, and I was like, and then everyone was able to have it on their phone the next day, and then they'll be like, oh, cool, we get to post this, we get to post that.
Then we can like map out how to post it, like because we had so many videos to choose from. So.
Yeah, and so. And it's funny because for me, what was tough was not the editing part, but for me, I had to manually focus everything. So that was the camera. The camera. That was the toughest part, is the focus that I had to have to keep you guys in focus. So then like if one movement up front, then you're out of focus. You know what I'm saying?
So you legit have to adjust.
I have to adjust basically like it had to be exact. I had to see the dance beforehand in order for me to calculate it. Even then, it's like, it's not as easy.
Wow.
Because when you're filming 70 videos, or when you're filming so many videos, like, I don't really have time to see all the dance, like the choreography. So then I would have to, like, basically just wing it. I had to try my best to make sure y'all were in focus, so that we could be on schedule, and so that everyone gets the same amount of videos. The reason why we had to fit everything in one day was because we put money into it.
Yeah.
And every day costed like a lot. You would put money into like the lens rental and the lighting rental, and if we exceeded that day,
there's more money
you just have to pay double. So like, let's say for example, like the lighting and the rental, that's like $800. So then if it extended to the second day, then that's, $1,600. We only had locations for one day or 2 days. So then to maximize it, like, we had to do the scheduling, we had to do the planning and make sure we got everything.
Yeah, that was such a great moment, and like in time. To the fact, everybody did. People like don't know that, but that's what helped. Like that's what helped people to grow on their pages.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like all automatic just because of this. Like, no, it took hard work. It took actually doing the content.
Yeah.
And prepping for it. Like, we have rehearsals and practice.
Yeah.
And like that's what helped all these people. That's something I was always dreaming for, like from a content point of view. It's like, how could we have multiple great videos and it happened? And that's what's good about it. Like, people don't know the ins and outs. So like, you gotta make sure the camera's right.
Yeah.
You edit and it's done the next day. Like, man, if that's such a privilege to have, because it's tough to have a videographer and have footage the next day.
It's funny because that would be the number one complaint. I think even with you in the past, you were working with film videographers, and they would take weeks. Like, you'd film a video and 3 weeks would pass by and you still don't have your video, and then you text them and be like, "Hey, where's my video?" And then they wouldn't respond. You're like, "Bro, what's going on?"
Yeah. It's like, what can make you stand out? You know what I'm saying? And
basically, that was one of the things.
And that's, in that world, if you take class, right, and you want some dance footage, I think today you got to pay people. Hey, respectfully, right? You got to pay the person that's doing the work. Like, the cameraman is working. You got to pay them, right?
Yep.
We just had a relationship, and we built something different. But our payment was the results. We put in the time, and we put all that time in, but we was getting results.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just like we was just doing that and nothing was happening. And no, great things were happening for people. People's lives were changing. What was going on was we were diligent in our content. We were diligent, and that's why it was successful. It took a lot of hard work for us to succeed.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Instagram is so hard to grow.
Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah.
And because it's so much saturated.
Yeah.
All these videos, so saturated. So you have to find a way to stand out.
Yeah, I think it was kind of social media changes so drastically, because even in the past, when you got the viral video, right? That means you instantly would go on Ellen, that's how rare it was. But now, as we were creating, a lot more people were going viral. So it's not like you had to have 10 viral videos in order to be really viral. One of the things that I thought was tough is getting to a higher following is hard, but what's harder is maintaining that.
Yeah. Because once you get comfortable.
Yeah,
it's
it's just the flow. You lose the flow, and then now it's you have to slow. It's kind of working out. It's you have a flow when you work out, but then when you stop, it's for a couple of weeks, and then you try to get back in, and it's it's harder. We went through an awesome wave of of things. Of like, we got to travel so many places. It was great. Like we went to
Barcelona.
And it was funny. It was Barcelona happened before we like
Took
were
off,
filming,
yeah.
like took off, and we were filming like the vertical videos. But if we knew like the vertical video format, we would have maximized the Barcelona trip like crazy.
Oh, we did not maximize.
We didn't. No, we didn't. That's what's funny.
right.
It was after, because if we did, then
wow.
you know what I'm saying, we would have created so many crazy videos in Barcelona.
The reason why too, like, I was so focused on like content and growing the page, because as a dancer, right, it's hard to it's the living, like your living situation is difficult, you know, like especially if you don't come from a rich family or an okay family. You try to pursue a dance career. And I was finding out what dance career I wanted to pursue. And I did music videos, I did auditions and things like that. But I was always still on social media, but I would do like dance videos and I would try to do auditions for other things. But that stuff used to frustrate me so much. And because it was so much time. Like when you're doing music videos and rehearsal, you want to talk about working, like, and then little pay. And that's something that had a switch in me, was like, I'm doing all this work and all this time for somebody else. And I was like, I'm barely getting paid.
Yeah.
Because if you want to make a living for like dance and this is what you want to do, like dance is, you almost can't make a living. Like you got to do something else. Yeah. Right? But I was determined of like, no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And so I had a different mentality. I didn't want to go on tour. I know it's good, slightly good pay, but that's so much time. Yeah, you could put into your own craft, like your own page. That's kind of thought I had. And for example, when I did the World of Dance, not performance tour, but the NBC tour, when I did that, and we were selling out some arenas, I was like, we can do this. You know, like this could be a dancing like tour. Like certain people, like Lindsey Sterling does it. I think Derek Huff does this, but I think they use their music. But that's something like that's hard to get to. Like, how can you be a dance artist to create something like that? That was always my dream. That's why I was thinking of concepts. Like, how could I create this show? So that was one of my still like I think could still do it is to create this dope show, right? As a dancer, and so I didn't want to go on tour with like artists. I just think like that's not going to work in the long run. Like especially if you like to help your family. Like I was just like that's not the way to go for me. Yeah. Right. I'm not saying like if you want to do that, that's what you do. Yeah. But I was just thinking of something bigger, you know. So I would look at different people like. I like what Matt Stefanino was doing. I was like, hey, teach me. You know, people will hate on him, but I will exchange my craft with his. Like he had social media knowledge that I didn't have, so I would go to him. And I respect Fiction. Fiction is super dope, both freestyle and social media, things like that. So I would start following after these things that inspired me to do this content. Yeah. So it's kind of summing up like why I wanted the videographer and like looking for a cameraman, like because I really wanted to pursue the social media content because I'm like, hey, people are actually making it and making a living off of their craft, and who doesn't want that? Like if you're a professional basketball player, that's what you why not make money off of what you love to do, right? And I love to do it, and so I'm just giving that perspective because I feel like people probably don't know that about me. And it's like, that's what I'm doing now still. Like, even though it has some ups and downs, but no, this was always my goal. This is why I left Crump to come and do social media. Yeah. And I had to start over. I had to learn how to do choreography, which is oh man, because I was a freestyle dancer. To learn how to do choreography was hard. Yeah, it was a struggle. So I went through all of this time, and so that's why when we started doing that content, I was like, this is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
So, and it all happened, you know, by just keep going and a DM.
Yeah.
You know, like, you don't know when your moment will come. Like, so that's why you have to be ready for every opportunity and be prepared. And because I'm telling you right now, I was like, I don't want to go on tour. I don't want to do that stuff. I'm like, that's too much time I actually could spend on my craft. And not just that, I always think about others too in that way. Like who could I like bring up with me, you know? So, and it's always tough and it's always a fight.
Yeah.
I realize with everything in life, it's like everything is a fight.
Yep.
So that's a whole nother way we could go, but that was my goal, was to create content, and I did. But now I'm looking for something and seeking. Now we both looking for something else and seeking for something else. What is that next thing, you know?
Yeah.
As we're still doing and keep going, like no matter what's going on, it's like, no, this is what I love to do. This is what I've been doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, you know, don't let nobody stop you.
There's been controversy going on in the social media world and just in our life in general.
I'm talking about for my experience, not like talking about nobody else's experience.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's not my job to talk about somebody else's experience. I don't fully know, and it's crazy that people like to talk about my experience, and I'm not even talking about it. It's them talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about, and it's funny too because it's people that think they know the situation and was not a part of it.
We were achieving things at a very fast and high level. I knew that people were jealous of that and people were trying to stop it. The things that like we're experiencing, you know, the attacks is like things that like A-list celebrities usually should go through. Yeah. People had this like idea that we were this like crazy big, you know, social media influencers. Like there's bigger social media influencers. So when all these like this craziness happened, I'm like, what's going on? Receiving like a lot of like hate DMs, you know, a lot of like death threats, all kinds of. We got crazy stuff, but
people can just call me nigger. Like, people were just going crazy on me, man.
For once, like, I didn't have any plan. I didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, okay, let's just take it one day at a time. And if I thought about what tomorrow brought, my head would have exploded. What's cool is, like, when you go through any trials or, like, tribulations, like, you have the word there to just help you. James is like, consider joy, you know, when you're facing these trials, because glory's ahead and waiting for you. So now all you have is just that word to like hold you to get to the next to get to the next day.
Yeah, that's something too, like, because our group was so simple. I think just want to like put this out there. It was so simple. Like, we did videos. We went home. Yeah, we would have Bible study, go to church, and eat. Yeah. Like, it's like, literally, that's what's mostly, like, just in that way. Just make it general, like, ins and outs. It's like, it was just very simple. And, and it's like, and it's kind of crazy that people could just create something and it's like this big thing. And like, just this what they think was going on. It's like, no, like literally, I would go for a hike with my wife, and it was just so simple, you know. Like we did videos, we worked on our content, and we love God, and we love to talk about God, and spend time. That was the thing that
was being attacked.
It was just like, like how do you explain? That's such a simple. It's so simple to understand, but I guess it's not, because of people have their stories and this was happening and that's what's happening. People think you doing something and you're not, you know. Yeah. And it's like, or like people think Miranda doing something and she's not. You know, it's like, and even with her just being real, her family, Miranda told them like nothing's happening. What's like going on, you know? And it's like, because they listen to these other people and they think that's what's happening. It's like, no, Miranda's telling them, like, that's not what's happening, you know? Yeah. And it's like, how much more can you say that? Yeah. But like, nothing is going on, you know? Mm-hmm. So So now we have to deal with that from what 2022.
Yeah, I think let's rewind and 2020 when COVID like happened, and so everyone at that time was just feeling empty and feel like there was no hope. When you're in that like mindset, like, man, the only thing you could turn to is God. We can't go anywhere. You know. So now
too many distractions, right?
There's no distractions now.
Yeah.
Now it's just you and God. So then a lot of people were very close, and I became like, I was like even during the COVID era, I was like, all right, let me just read the whole Bible. I became like even hungry for God, and around that time, like, you were hungry, and then every time we met up and went hiking, we would always talk about God. You also like had very similar perspective, and we would delve into that. We were just talking about like, man, like how God is good, and I feel like one of the things we talked about was like, you know, the power of your words. You've had this mentality like, okay, I'm not going to speak anything bad. Like, I'm only going to speak good things, you know, because that's what's going to determine the course of my life. And I was like already on board with that.
I found out that my words were very important in 2017. And because I was just constantly speaking negative. And I'm like, that's working. So for some reason, I had to shift. I was like, if that's working, then this will work.
Yeah.
And I stuck with it. And I read Mark 11, 22 through 25. I think it's like King James Version. That's kind of like, or that really says it like New King James. 22 says, so Jesus answered and said to them, have faith in God. For surely I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believe that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says. So that popped up in me, you know, and I was like, I have whatever I say. And I switched. I was like, well, if I'm saying bad things and that's happening, that's probably why, because I'm believing in those bad things.
Yeah.
And I just had the thought of, let me switch it. And literally, bro, that's when things really start turning around. That's when I start, and I have evidence of, I went viral. I went on to be on World of Dance, to perform.
Yeah.
And I went on World of Dance NBC. And then I started my TikTok, and that started growing. And then, like, so many things was just happening at this time. And I'm like, wow, this works.
Yeah.
So it's so much, you know, that goes into that, you know. Like, there are moments that, because I had no money, man. Like, I didn't grow up, I had nobody to go to.
Yeah.
Nobody to lean on.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother, like, that's a challenge, man. And
that's something I want to talk about is like your journey, where you started, how you started. Like, you came in, like, I met you, you didn't have a car. You know, barely, like, you're just barely making some money on social media, to now it's like, now the growth now, like, you're able to buy your own car. Like, when you first bought your car, we're all like,
yeah, like, let's go.
We were celebrating. We were like, cool, what's next? And your credit wasn't that great, where you couldn't even rent anything. But that wasn't because of you, but that's just a whole nother story.
Yeah.
Where someone messed up your credit, just the transition. I remember, although, like, when you moved, you know, you were thankful that you got a space, but the room was small.
Hey, I was happy, dude.
You were happy.
I was like, let's go.
You would invite us over, but then, like, it was just the bed, and then that's it. Like, and then a small table on the side, and your bed.
I had these big old speakers.
And you had the big old speakers.
To make beats.
It was so small that the bed was also the chair for your desk. And what's cool was people saw that too, and at least people who were close to you saw that and saw the evidence of that, and were like, dang, like I knew Bdash when he was this, and he didn't have a car and this, and now he has a car, he has his own place.
Like, it's a challenge, and but one thing I would say is, like, when you don't give up, things will happen. And I'm saying that from, like, look, I had nothing. And I don't think a lot of people don't know about my mom situation. Like my mom went down like 20. I keep saying 20 because we just said this, but 2009.
Yeah.
And that was like a tough situation. And and then like my grandparents had died after, and I was like, because they were like kind of like a support at the time. But you know, I didn't have nobody to go to, like no one. My sister didn't have money to help me, or my brother, and we were all trying to just figure things out. But I never was like depending on that. Yeah, I was like, no, I'm gonna do this, and I was depending on God and not giving up. You know, so when I make decisions, it can be harsh sometimes because I have to leave this place, or I have to do this, I have to do that. But it's like, but all those decisions that I made, I don't regret it at all. Yeah. You know, like I'm like, so like what happened? Like I'm still grateful. Like things happen, man. And real situations happen, and it's like you got to keep going. Yeah. And coming from a place of living in, first of all, not just that room. I remember I had to sleep on people's couches and pay. Yeah. And pay probably a couple $100 that I barely had. Like I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember how I was getting this money, man. Like I remember one time I had no phone. I couldn't pay my phone bill, bro. I was like, man, this is crazy. But I stuck it out. But I do want to give a special thanks to this lady named Kit. It was a time where this is when I first moved to North Hollywood. It was because of her and her daughter. And at the time, this was Kevin's girlfriend and the mom. We wanted to pursue our dance career in North Hollywood, or like just the industry or whatever, or social media, so to speak. Mm-hmm. She let us stay there for 8 months until she moved out and went back home, I believe. But she was like, you guys could stay here until you get off your feet. Like, things like that was happening. I'm like, and I didn't ask for it. But I, like, with God, yes, but not, I didn't ask her, like, can I stay here? Like, no, she just opened up her place. And I stayed there for 8 months, and she was like, don't pay me nothing. And there was times where I'm a person, if I have it, I'm like, I will pay. Like, so, yeah, it's moments like that, you know, and I believe that was God, that God used her to help me to kick off. And then it wasn't easy after that. And then after that, I went through the eviction. Yeah, it's just so much that I went through. That is cool that I'm able to speak on right now. And it's just a testimony of, all I can say is this: no matter what you're going through, it's such a cliche thing to say, don't give up. That's what love is, you know. Love, one of the characters of love is never give up. Yeah. Like, love never fails, you know. Yeah. And another character of love is what? The first one, it says love is patient, right? Yeah. But if you go to different translations, it says love is long-suffering. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like, do people really know what love is? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you understand, read 1 Corinthians 13. Another definition of love is, I love, love keeps no record of wrong. Yeah. And that's something I hold on to, because I'm like, hey, God says if you don't forgive others, you won't be forgiven. Yeah. And this is something that I'm like, I hold on to, like, is the mercy message. Yeah. Because I want to go to God, and God be like, hey, I show mercy to you because you show mercy to my people. Mm-hmm. You show mercy to this person. You show mercy to that person. And I want to be rich in mercy. That's my main goal. You know what I'm saying? And that helps me to never give up, because people are going to do you wrong. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. That it's like, people are going to do you wrong. Like, no matter where you at in the world. Yeah. Like, Satan is real, y'all. Like, the devil is real. Devil back. God is good. You know. And
Satan comes to steal, kill, and destroy. When you go through trials in the past, it helps you to deal with trials that we faced even just recently, in recent years. You know? But even then, it's still unpleasant to go through. But man, like, you know, just having the word to just help you go through the storm.
When you're a Christian, you suffer, but for some reason, you know, God always got me.
Yeah.
And holding on to that, it's like it helped me through so much, and learning that, hold up, you know, Christ suffered for us.
Yeah.
If Christ could do that for me, I could do that for him.
Yeah.
And I could do that for my brothers. You know, my brothers and sisters in Christ, you know, right?
Yeah.
And that's something I like to look at, is like, hey, doing this walk is not easy because the enemy is going to take you out. Yeah. And I'm not talking about people, you know, I'm talking about Satan, you know? And it's like, yeah, people be used, but the main thing is that
when I like look at our lives, I'm like, how we got together is not an accident.
In that way, it wasn't, we didn't plan it. Same thing happened with Tardars, you know?
Yeah.
Like, one day, I was at his house laughing, and I end up staying there. Mm-hmm. Like, I end up starting living with him. Yeah. You know? It's like, stuff just happens.
When I met you, it clicked. Probably like the third time we hung out.
Yeah.
I was like, this is it. You complete the picture. Like, you are an artist, you come up with ideas, you're the talent, and also you edit music, you know? Mm-hmm. And I'm the filmmaker, the technical aspect, you know? I'm also like the producer, the one who plans things. And that was one of the things in terms of like social media that was really hard, because again, the goal is to do social media for a living, right? And one of the main thing was the copyright.
Oh man, music.
Being copyrighted for music, you know? Like, you could get millions of views, but then if the music is copyrighted, then you don't get anything from that, you know? You only just get the recognition of that. So then when your page grows, then your social media grows, and you get brand deals based off that. But you don't get money based off the views you get because you're using other people's songs. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm like, okay, cool, it'll work out, is you make your own beats, and they were going viral as well. Mm-hmm. So now it's like we had control over all aspects of production. Yeah. Now all we needed is just one. Our focus is all we need is just one video to go crazy. That was our original goal, but then it shifted into the vertical format, and then from then on, it was like, okay, now we put our whole energy into that. Like, I wanted to just create movies, you know, and like I cared about the art of it, and I wanted to write scripts and create short films. Like, that was my main thing. Like, I technically really didn't care about the vertical videos. I only cared about it because I knew it was helping other people. But even then, that wasn't my goal. Wasn't to like do vertical videos my whole life. Like, I wanted to create movies, and so but again, it's just cool because the concept, like, I wasn't even thinking about growing my page, and my page grew. I benefited from something that I wasn't seeking for myself. I was just seeking for other people. Yeah, I just liked how everything happened in that way. And I think you mentioned something about like regretting, you know? Like, I don't regret anything.
No, I watched some things like back. I watch some things like, and I'm like, oh, I could have did this better. I could have did that better. Yeah. You know, it's things like that. Or even like, no, I should have been cut my hair, you know?
Oh, yeah. And you had the long hair. Yeah, that was iconic, though. That was iconic at that time.
The Joker was like, low-key made me get it. Because I was like, are we going to do another one?
Yeah.
But... yeah, it was iconic.
It's just because when you moved, like, it added that effect of your hair going like, you know, your hair was dancing with you.
No, that was fun, man. Yeah, I just think, you know, doing our craft, and that was my goal too. Is like, and also I got that from you too. Like, you gonna help me get $1 million? I was like, all right, I want to help. Yeah. Like Miranda, for example, let's get her to $1 million, you know, and all right, let's work on like Vik or whatever, you know, and I think that's the goal, you know, as a team, is to help people grow and not just yourself.
Yeah, we had like a very like team-minded mindset. Yeah. It's like when we started with nothing. Yeah. Literally nothing. Yeah. We saw results from the beginning. Yeah. But then when we decided to like go further into the YouTube venture, like we try to recreate what we did, it took a little while, you know.
I know.
And then,
that 10 video period
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
and then it wasn't a success and like most of it, but we just
Kept at it.
we had that mentality, just keep going, don't give up, you know. Even if it didn't do well, which it didn't do well, I lost most of them, just keep going. I feel like people think it was like,
All of a
sudden, I was like, nah. Nah. Like, even for me, in my adventure of filmmaking, like, I started in 8 years ago. So I had to go through a lot just to get to that point where the quality is good. There was a point in my life where I was just like, hey, like, I had a lot of film friends, so they would ask me like, hey, are you available to work on this shoot? It wasn't paid or anything. I was like, yes, you know. And everybody, like anybody who asked me, or if there was like an Instagram post saying, hey, is anyone available to do that? I'd be like, yes. So I was doing various set positions, and I learned so much through that. When I got my first camera, I used all the skills that I learned from working on other people's set to like contribute and then put it onto my projects. So even just that journey alone to get to that point, man, it was a fight, it was a battle. And then obviously for you, people don't understand, like, you had years to just train.
Yeah. I was in Crump for 8 years, like battling in the session and traveling. And also making music. So, for example, me making music didn't come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Right? So, I was using my time to train and doing all of the crump and things like that. So when I said I had to start over and dance and with the 2014, it really was something I didn't know how to do, because choreography is like totally different story.
And I noticed like just viewing like social media, it's like just because you're talented, it's not a guarantee that you'll get a high following.
That's something that I was searching too, like, cause I was good at crump, like really good at it, like I was top, and I recognize that like you could be the best in the room, but you still don't. That doesn't feed you, so to speak, right? So I started studying and seeking, how could this work?
Yeah.
Like, like social media, like how could it work? So I would pay attention to people that was blowing up. Like it's like it's funny, but it's like pay attention to the person that's good at their job, right? Yeah. And that's all I did. So to sum it all up, that's how we got to where we got to, is because like seeking these things, like how could I present first of all, crump is such a crazy, wild dance, so to speak, especially to the people. My main thought was, how could I translate this to a baby and to a grown, or to a grandma? That's what I used to think. Yeah. Like, how could I present my crump that way? So that alone is a whole different, just for me practicing and like getting good at my craft. So I had to study how to move differently, and you'll find it by like seeking and like dang man, why people like fiction so much? Like I'll pay attention to that. I'm like, oh, I see it. Now I work on it. I give Matt Stefanina his props, because people don't know this dude works so hard. Yeah, like it's crazy. Like and then there's even people like Dietrich's at the time. Like I'm watching, they'll do the YouTubes, and these people work so hard. So I'm like, first of all, working hard is like that's like a basic. You have to work hard, or else it's like it's just not gonna work, right? And so I was searching these things, and so like you said, that team. So you need a team to actually get you there too, because then you could learn these things, but that still won't get you over the hump. It's like you need that team. Like for example, when we click the drive, it's like, like we're going through that same like path. Yeah. Like you have to drive for this, I have to drive for it, and boom.
So I thought it was another thing I thought was kind of interesting is like people who are talented, they like are bashing people who are like famous on like social media because they're not as talented, but then they get so many views. But it's like, it's just because they put in the work, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
But the camera is about to die, so we have to switch the battery. All right, we have to finish this up.
I mean, by you speaking on like people hating on like the people that are actually doing well, it's like I was one of those people.
Yeah.
Like, because just being in the battle scene, you know, you got to compare yourself to others. Like, all right, I got to beat this person. So that mentality is yeah, you got to be careful with that because it could go into different levels. But I caught myself and realized, like, you know what, this dude could probably help me where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than hating on him, I was like, no, let me speak to him. No, thank God, because I don't want to just hate on people.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if somebody was doing it, I'll ask them questions. And that's how I kind of like got to have different relationships with people too. And working with different people, and people see your drive. That's something I noticed. Like,
Yeah.
like that's something I noticed. Like, I actually started working with like Fiction, right? He saw what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like, I knew who he was, but I had to get there to work with Fiction, to collab with him. You gotta present yourself somehow. You gotta show yourself. Like, you can't just be in your living room and labbing the whole time and then you show nobody, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not how it works. Like, you need to put your stuff out and put yourself out there in order to work with somebody so they can see your drive. So that's something that I like. Always being a student, that's the best way I could say, like, being a student in these areas so that you could get to who you're looking at. But no, I do like the fact of, like, it doesn't happen out of nowhere. Like, it's not by accident, by certain things happening. You know, it's like, we really, and not just putting the work in, we really enjoy, like, what we do. You know, it's like,
that's a good one.
Like, we really enjoy it. And I think it's because of the times of, like, testing and going through all these things in your craft, you know, seeing what works. You know, seeing what don't work.
Yeah.
Oh, that don't work. And it maybe could be a good idea for that season, but it just doesn't work in that season, you know? And it's like, and figuring out those things were, I think, so key.
Yeah.
Because that's what led to, so to speak, accident moments, like the glitch.
Yeah.
It's not an accident.
No.
It's just like, oh, you know what? That's a good idea. All right, let me do it. Like, even though I was like tired at the time, I was like, well, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Right? That's a great mentality to have. Let's go. Let's do it. Right?
Yep.
And boom.
Ended up being one of the videos that helped change the course of your career.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of interesting, and now that you brought it up, was the enjoyment, being able to enjoy the process, you know, and having that environment. Like, I would have like sets and videos, and I would have a crew. This was aside from our dance videos, but like when I would have a crew, and there were a couple of people that would just be like, you know, they didn't want to be there, and then I'm like. In my head, I'm like, why'd you accept this in the first place? Yeah. And, you know, I'm like, get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, get out of here if you don't want to be here. I want to be around people who want to be around here. You know what I'm saying? But when we started, like, man, we all wanted to be there. We all wanted to, like, we were all very passionate about it. That's just a great environment to have and be around. And the moment someone's there and complaining, it's like, it brings the energy down. And you're like, dude, like, why are you here then? Just leave. You know, it was very simple. Yeah. Either you come in and you're excited about this project, or don't even accept this job if you're not excited about it.
You want to be around the same energy. You know, like, if somebody on 100, that's what you want to do, and the project is better. Everything is better, right? Yeah. Then somebody don't want to be there. It's like, man. Leave, like, so, it's okay.
Leave.
Like,
it's
you don't
okay.
do
We're
it.
Good. We're chilling.
We're good, right? It will still get done without you, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest, like, deception. It's like, yo, if you don't want to do something,
don't do it.
Don't do it, man. Like, you're not forced to do, like, like, look, I get it though. This is what I was gonna say. People just like results. They don't like the process.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest. That's the biggest downfall of anybody that want to go after something. You just want results. You won't make it. Like the process is the most. You need to enjoy the process. You need to love that part the most. You won't make it.
Exactly.
And like no matter what you want, you want to be this famous singer, rapper, or whatever. Like if you don't enjoy that process and you're not willing to take hits or like take like controversy or whatever, you ain't gonna make it because you only thinking about the results. Like that's why I love the process. I love like even when I'm tired or at times like no like this is what I want to do. Like and 100% doesn't mean just high energy all the time. It's just like. No, like it's times where the body gets tired and you just like, man, but I gotta keep going because I love this. You know?
Yeah,
it's that drive, and just talking about it is giving me like energy. You know, but if you don't want to do it, don't do it. It's so simple. Like, oh man,
like, who cares about the result? Like, do something that you love to do or you're actually happy to do, and then do that. Go that route. But just to kind of close this off, I would like to say that again, if this whole YouTube channel is going to drastically change, and it's going to be different. So if you are interested in dance videos, go follow his page, and I'm gonna put the link above here. But if you want to stick with this page, where I'm gonna be me posting podcasts or whatever, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but you could stay on this page. But again, dance videos, his page, this whatever, my adventure on this page. But don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow, and give Bdash and Miranda a follow.
Yes.
And see their adventure and their Instagram. You could check them out. But I think I'm gonna have him on part 2 of the podcast, and then maybe we'll have Miranda, or I don't know, we'll have someone new. But thank you for tuning in and listening, and we'll see how this goes.
There's so much more to talk about.
There is a lot more to talk about.
I don't know. I think I might just need to be the second host of this.
You might have to be the second host because we still have to talk about how you growing up in Compton, and that experience.
Yeah, that's a whole nother experience.
Like there's certain things that happen there, even just the things with your family recently. Which we could talk about later. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's a little Celsius or energy drink tap.
First podcast.
Thank you. All right.
One more question. What should this podcast be called? That's a whole nother.
Well, I think this podcast will already be named by the time I post this.
All right, so never mind. Scratch it. All right. Peace out. See you guys later.
If you have any questions, concerns, or whatever, don't forget to comment and let us know.
Yep.
And thank you for watching.
Peace.
I was going to spin, but I was going to knock over that table.